Marcia?
How did you do that?
Shift the gears and hit the pedal on the right and hope for the best.
It's the loud pedal.
I was supposed to say, that sounds good.
They all went up and I went down.
We will go ahead and get started with our post-race press conference for the Toyota Owners 400 here at Richmond International Raceway. We welcome Kevin Harvick, driver of the number 29 Bell Helicopter Chevrolet, the winner of tonight's race. Kevin, this is your first victory of 2013 and 20th victory in 439 NASCAR Sprint Cup Series races. Just talk a little bit about those last few laps out there tonight.
Yeah, it was... Gil will tell you the same thing. We've been on the wrong side of those decisions a few times this year, and to be, sitting there seventh on four tires, and the only other guy on four tires sitting on the outside was, felt like if I could get by the row in front of me, and felt like, the guys on no tires were sitting ducks, but it all worked out, and we were fortunate to have it all line up, and I drove it in there and hoped for the best, and figured 4, 8, 12, whatever was on the outside, tire-wise, would be plenty to lean on, and by the time we got to the backstretch, everything had cleared out.
Joining Kevin up here tonight is crew chief Gil Martin. Gil, talk a little bit about the exciting race from your standpoint tonight.
Well, I was kind of surprised how tight we were starting the race. We probably made more adjustments tonight on the car than we've made in any race in a couple of years. But it was right when it needed to be. But, for those of you who have been around here for a long time, that restart by him was vintage Kevin Harvick. That was a really, really good restart right there. That was exciting to watch.
Also joining us is car owner Richard Childress. Richard, obviously a very exciting race for everyone involved tonight. So tell us a little bit about your thoughts about sitting up here with this win tonight with Kevin and Gil.
Like I heard I think Kevin said earlier, we've been there all year long right at the we had fast cars, but we couldn't. It seemed like something didn't go our way. But tonight it did, and like Gil said, that was vintage Kevin Harvick. When they dropped that green, he just found the hole, drove it through there, made it happen, and won the race. I think everyone, even the 29 team, was probably pulling for Burton, but at the end of the night, when he got up there, we were all pulling for Kevin and Jeff to be right there with him. It was a good night for RCR.
All right, well, let's take questions. Please raise your hand. We'll get a wireless mic to you. We'll start right here to the right.
Vince Bonfigley, Garage Talk Live. Kevin, before the caution came out, you were creeping in on Montoya's lead. Do you think if it stayed green, you would have been able to get him?
I don't think so. My car had lost drive up off the corner, and I think one thing that led to being so confident in my car on that last restart was our car had been really good on restarts for 4 or 5 laps, which is kind of what we lacked last night. But tonight, the car would turn, it would do all the things I wanted to, and I could be really aggressive with it on the restart. So I think the restart, I had a better shot to win starting 7th than I did. I don't think I was gonna catch Montoya because he had a little bit better drive up off the corner at that point.
Okay, we'll take our next question here in the middle from Stan.
Stan Creekmore with RPM tonight. Gil, what about you? As you watch those laps running down before the caution, did you think you had any chance at the victory?
Well, before that last caution came out, we were able to get to the 42, but the laps were kind of leveling out. And tonight was kind of a weird deal for Richmond. It seemed like the cars were getting an arrow push here. So the moment that you started getting with about 5 car lengths of somebody, it seems like the advantage that you had on tires or lap time advantage that you had kind of just went away. It diminished as soon as you got close to them, and then you would have to stay on them for several laps. And the laps were winding down so fast that Montoya was going to have to make a mistake, I think, for us to get by him at that point.
All right, we'll take our next question up front from Bob here to the right.
Bob Hocker, Sporting News. I guess for Kevin and Gil, how big is this win for you guys? Just looking at kind of the psyche of you and the team. You had only one top 10 this year, so I can't imagine. I have to imagine you were a little bit frustrated, even if you had speed.
Yeah, we've had speed, and we were frustrated. I think all of us were frustrated, not just myself and Gil, but I think everybody on our team. And you can talk to your blue in the face about your car's running good, but the people like you guys look at the results on Monday and the points, and they weren't where we thought we should be, and I think a win goes a long ways, and we have a really busy testing schedule. We haven't really tested at any of the racetracks that we've run at yet. So we have a busy schedule and a winning a race, and all the things that come with tonight will lead towards guys not being as aggravated to go test and do the things that we have to go do here over the next month. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the frustration's there. I mean, when you have a fast car, we've come down to the end of the races to where it seems like we had cars that could run in the top 5, easily in the top 10. And some of the decisions that I've made at the end of the race, thinking that it was going to be the right one, this has been one of the most difficult years for making decisions. If a final caution comes out in the last 10 or 15 laps and you're within 6th to 12th place, it's no man's land because there's so many cars on the lead lap now. There's 30 cars on the lead lap that you're sitting there 8th. If you pit, a lot of them don't pit. You lose track position. If you don't pit, everybody pits. They have a tire advantage. So we've been on the wrong end of that, and so we've got to be more aggressive on that. And tonight we were, and it paid off for us.
Yeah, I think we've been through a lot, so it's not like I can sense when he's frustrated. He knows when I'm frustrated, and it's not something that you take personal. I mean, by the time you get to Monday, I mean, even on the weekends, I mean, you're frustrated. By the time you get to Monday, he's working in the shop, and you just got to let it go. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it at that point. So you got to try to make the best out of it for the next week.
Okay, we'll go up to the press box for 3 questions. Go ahead.
Lee Spencer, Fox Sports. Kevin, at the start of the season, you said despite the fact that you'd be leaving at the end of the year, not to count you guys out. I mean, is this just, he said vintage Kevin Harvick, but you talk about your relationship and everything and how you guys have kind of kept it together. Is just this a sign that you'll be able to do that till the end of the season?
Outside of the results, I feel like we've done that every week. I feel like our cars have performed well. I feel like we're getting better. With some things coming down the road. So it doesn't feel like it's any different than any other year has been. Other than, I mean, that's at the end of the year, everybody knows what's going on. But in the end, we all have big egos, and we want to be competitive, and we want to win races, and do the things that it takes to go out there and fulfill that feel that you like, whether it's in victory lane, and how much work that everybody puts in, and it's just there's a lot of responsibility that comes with a lot of things to the sponsors and the people and the organization, and it's just it takes too much work to be mad, because at this point you're racing week in and week out, you're testing and you're trying to relay the information, and they're trying to to go through everything to make you better. It's just a lot of work, and I know everybody makes a big deal out of what you're going to do next year, but man, next year's so far away right now that you just you're week to week. You're like, what are we working on this week? What track are we going to? What do we do to make it better? And you just try to do that week after week, and you lose track of time. You lose track of everything that's going on because you're so buried in what we do on a week-to-week basis.
Mike Hembu from Speed.com. Kevin, even though you had fresh tires, there was probably 100 different things could have happened those last couple of laps. Did you feel like you had to get to the front in those first couple of turns if you were going to get to the front?
Well, we've had 99 of those things go wrong in 8 weeks, so we got one right this week. But I mean, everybody was going to be aggressive at that point because nobody really knew. You had, was there 3 or 4 cars? 3 cars up front that didn't pit, right? So you had 3 cars that were going to be pretty much in the way, compared to the guys on tires. So you didn't know if it was going to be 1 green, white checkered or 2 green, white checkered. So you had to go and be as aggressive as you thought you could be without, taking yourself out of the race. And fortunately, we were able to have it all line up for us tonight. So you just kind of have a plan in your mind and try to play it out.
Brian Belansky, RacingWire.info. Richard, you mentioned how everybody was probably pulling for Jeff coming up to that last green-white checker. Considering how that team has struggled, how important is a finish like tonight for them and their psyche moving forward?
Well, he was big. You know, they've really struggled the last little bit, and be in a position just to win a race, and knowing you were kind of a sit and duck. But, you know, if he could have helped off and got the white flag, caution came out, he could have won the race. But we knew that the guys with the new tires are really going to be coming, and I'm just glad one of our cars won.
Okay, we'll come back down to the media center. We'll go Vince, then Jenna.
Guys, Vince Bonfigli, Garage Talk Live. When I was trying to figure out, Clint and Joey earlier were talking about the Gen 6 and how it's been fun to race again. And do you feel like it's put more in the driver's lap and make it more fun for you guys to drive a car again as opposed to the way it was a few years ago?
Well, they're definitely not edgy like the cars used to be. You got enough downforce on the cars to where you can manipulate the car, whether it be with the brake or the throttle. And even if if you're manipulating it with the brake like you do a lot here, you can slide the car in the corner and modulate the brake and the throttle to get the car up coming up off the corner. But there's still a lot of unknowns. I think that's kind of what makes it fun is we have this, we call it a delta to change our car from practice to the race to the adjustments that we think we need, and we applied those tonight, and we were not as close as we would have wanted to be. So we know coming back, and everybody will get better when they come back because it looked like everybody was fighting a lot of the same problems. So it's interesting. It's fun. In the car, when you have enough downforce on the car, you can be ultra aggressive with it and do things like we did tonight on the restart and not worry about the car just spinning out and wrecking into somebody when you're underneath another car. So that's a good thing.
Okay, we'll take our next question up front from Jenna.
That was kind of my question. Do you think that the racing is better this year?
I think in a lot of places it's been a lot better. I think it's been obviously, I think there's a few different places. How you doing?
Gotta go to the bathroom.
Got to go potty. What was your question again?
I asked if you think the racing's better, and if all three of you could address it, and why is it better?
Well, I think that the racing is better just for the fact that you can be more aggressive with the cars. I think last year when you have the spoiler was short, it's hard to be aggressive with those cars because they're so edgy, and you don't have a lot of confidence in racing side by side. I feel like I could drive my car in 10 miles deep and do what I have to do on the inside of another car and not have to worry about spinning out and wrecking. So I think that goes a long ways. I think there's still a few things here and there, whether it be the super speedways, that everybody wants to see how the racing is at Talladega next week, compared to how it was at Daytona. So there's still some unanswered questions, but I think all in all it's been a huge success so far, and so that's good.
Okay, we'll take our next question right here from Stan.
You guys asked many more questions.
Stan
These are
Creekmore
big
with
beers.
RPM again.
This is the last one.
This question is for Richard. I'm going to wait till he pays attention. Richard, in all the years in all the years that I've watched you, winning a championship has always been, your number one desire in everything. And I watched you at the start of this year as we headed into Daytona and everything, and it looked, despite everything that everybody knows, that you felt especially good with this team. And I know they've struggled some, but do you still see that capability? Do you see more than we see, that they have a chance to go from the win tonight
Are you saying
to
we
a
don't have a
championship?
chance?
No, sir, I'm not. I asked him what he's thinking.
No, it's a good question, Stan. Yeah, starting the year off, we know we've made a lot of changes at RCR. We've, we're rolling, for the win, and hired a lot of really good people, smart people, and I think we got a great shot of winning that championship this year, and we just got to be there. At the end of the day, they're not easy to win. Championships aren't, but that's the one thing I want to accomplish, and this could be the year. And I think we got everyone working in the right direction, and hopefully we'll be in Vegas smiling big.
All right. Gentlemen, congratulations on your win tonight, and we appreciate your time. Thank you.